Hi there! It is a really pretty mid-April day, and I thought this would be a great time to do a little early mid-spring, I'm not sure, garden tour. So hang on a second, let me get the camera turned around. So here is my collection of things that my containers where I have some winter sowing, and some of them definitely are ready for planting. These are some lupins. There are some jugs that I think definitely were duds. And then again, some other jugs are definitely ready to go ahead and be planted. So lots of poppies I can see, some asters, some grasses, lots of things. I haven't really opened them up, but there are definitely some duds, but there are definitely also lots and lots of baby plantlings here. So that is some lovely spring progress. These are my favorite types of daffodils. They are what are called a double, and I can't remember which exact variety these are. I got them from Color Blends. It's a website. Fantastic company, wonderful products, do a great job. You could even, I think, probably go ahead and I think you can pre-order for fall delivery. You plant bulbs like this, daffodils, tulips, things like that in the fall, and they sleep all through the winter, and then, oh my goodness, how gorgeous are those? So they do multiply. This is more than what I originally planted, but even when I first planted them, they put on quite a show, and that show is just getting more and more lovely every year. So that is some gorgeousness happening here in the early spring. In my original smaller vegetable garden, the strawberries are popping back to life. I've even seen some here today. Look there. It's got some blossoms. We have strawberries loading. Yay! So, and then the onions that I planted a few weeks ago are starting to put on a little bit of size. So that's fantastic. You can see the different colors in the foliage over there for the strawberries, that they are definitely waking up, starting to grow. You can see the broccoli over here, and some broccoli rabe have done just fine through some colder nights that we've had more recently, and are putting on some growth, putting on some size. So hopefully we have some broccoli to come here. Let's see, what else do we have? This area is around where my well is, and you can see we've got lots of irises who are coming back to life. We have a few daffodils. The rest of this bed is still kind of sleepy. Over here we have a different kind of spring bulb. These are called snake's head fritillaria, and they're these like little, they just hang upside down. They kind of, I don't know, they look to me like little elfin lampposts. Huh. And there's some white ones and some purple ones. I don't remember buying white ones, but also this is one of those things that you plant in the fall. And these have been here for a couple years. I think maybe there's some more than what I planted. This right here is a peony that I planted the root a couple years ago. Last year I did not get any flowers on this one. I'm fingers crossed for this year. Got some catmint waking up, and here is the other peony plant. This one I did get one bloom from last year, so I'm definitely hopeful. I can't tell if those are blooms getting ready, buds in there or not, but keeping my fingers crossed. All right, let's see what else we've got. I am going to try to grow some fruit this year, so I have purchased some like bare root type raspberry plants. This one I got from a local nursery, so it's much bigger. It's already starting to flush out some growth. This one was like a little baby plant. You can see it does have some leaves there still. The other one was literally like a stick, so we'll see if it wakes up. So that's coming. And then we have a tree here that's got some pretty blooms. It's like a sand cherry, kind of, sort of similar to that. And hold on, let me relocate. Okay, so this gives you kind of a view of the back of the house. This area right here doesn't look like there's that much going on, but there is definitely stuff waking up. And this view, oh, let me get, this is a combo that I just love. It's not quite fully there yet. Oops, sorry about that. But these are 3 spirea bushes, a double play something, and they have like reddish leaves when they are first filling out. They have a really pretty bloom. But look at the color. It's like this dark evergreen green and this maroony red color that's just so pretty. And with that, I have some grape hyacinth bulbs paired with something called, I think, thalia. And again, also things that you would plant in the fall. And oh, look how pretty the combination is. I totally copied that combination from something in the Color Blends catalog, but I love this grouping here with these spireas as they start to fill out, and then these spring bulbs. And then when the spring bulbs are about pooped out, is around the time that these spireas will be fully leafed out and then starting to bloom. And oh, it's just so pretty. Over here there's some more. I have lots of the grape hyacinth thalia combinations, and this is the forsythia that's just about done. This is a nice big tricolor willow bush that I gave a pretty hard prune to this last year, so she's a little stockier than normal. Usually there would be lots of very graceful arching branches, but she had to get a real big prune last fall, so that's kind of got her shape a little bit different. Got lots of daylilies that are starting to wake back up here, and then once we get going a little further into the season, this area will be filled with black-eyed, brown-eyed Susans and hostas, and then some heucheras that still need to be cleaned up. And then this is my pretty little pine arborvitae that eventually will get big enough to kind of fill this space between these windows and add some vertical interest back here on this side of the house. So everything's just looking so lovely with all these flowers. And oh, let me point something out. So right here is where a vent from the heating system comes out. If you notice, these are much brighter blue, a little bit further along than this other side over here. A little less warmth, and they look a little bit different, the grape hyacinths. They're also a little bit smushed, so maybe one of the stray cats has been walking around on there. Maybe that's the difference. But still, oh, I love these groupings with these white tall flowers with the low little blue spikes all around the base. So as you can see, I have several of them. I will say one thing I don't love about these hyacinth little plants, spring bulbs do their thing, then they kind of die off. Once the plants have lost all their green, you can kind of come through and snip them down to the ground, and your other stuff at that point kind of overtakes them. That area in your flower bed doesn't look, like you've got a bunch of dead things. These things in the fall start growing their greenery again, and they get quite long and look like somebody forgot to mow the yard. And I have to go through in the fall and trim them way back down. That's one thing I don't love. Otherwise, they look really, really seedy. Not seedy, just way overgrown and not pretty. Anyways, these are all a bunch of violas and pansies that I grew from seed. Oh, look at this beautiful thing. Oh, what is this one? That is a pastel mix, so no telling what color you're going to get until they start to bloom. But oh, aren't they pretty? So pretty. So that is some stuff I started from seed. That's waking up, getting lots of new growth. Some of the oh, these poor babies. So these are hydrangeas. They are a mountain hydrangea, and they had started to leaf out. They were looking really happy, but they're a little susceptible to late spring cold snaps. And you can see a lot of these leaves are very brown and sad. So I'm gonna leave these guys go. All of the ones that are like this look like this. They're not dead, but they may need to be cut back because the late cold snaps that we've had may have damaged them that I'm going to have to cut them back. But it's fine. They'll grow back from fresh growth, and it'll be fine. They'll still get blooms. They'll just be later into the season. You can see the Weigelia bushes are starting to get their leaves. These are a late spring, early summer bloomer. And so those are starting to leaf out, looking nice. Got some perennial geraniums that are starting to really green up and coming back, as well as some more iris type of plants over here. Got some shrubs. These are another different type of spirea. They're waking up, looking pretty good so far. Lots of other perennials. I cut back all of my limelight hydrangeas a week or two ago, but you can see they are forming up leaf buds, so everybody's looking happy. Lots of irises over here, and like a type of lily. Those over there are irises. These are a type of lily that I don't know if they're called tiger lilies. Some people I think call them ditch lilies. They get a real tall spike with a really bright orange flower, kind of midsummer. So those are spreading and may need to be divided and contained at some point. These guys are getting ready to just wow us here soon. This is a type of Deutzia Chardonnay pearls. I've got a little row of them here, and they are looking like they are just about to explode with their blooms. Hold on, let me see what else we can find. Quick peek at the big vegetable garden. We'll just look through the fence. Garlic is looking happy. Got lots and lots of garlic in lots of places. Got some lettuce and lots of onions everywhere. Everybody's looking pretty good. Has made it through, I think, any of our cold snaps that we've had here recently. Got some perennials that we planted last year that are starting to really green up. Got a big collection of some different types of yarrow here, and they seem to have come through the winter just fine. Some catmints. Not sure if this shrub is coming back. We're going to give it a little bit longer. It's a type of viburnum, so I don't know if this guy should have come back by now. It's a very snappy here. That guy may not have made it. We'll have to see. A little bit of the lavender has come back. See over here. Oh, the carrots that I threw some seeds down here. We've got some carrots still coming in. Like I said, some lettuces and lots of onions and garlic. And we've got some more broccoli over here. Seems to be, for the most part, looking pretty good. And then lots of things are getting ready over here to pop, but we do have some things that have already started blooming. Let's focus on those today. This is a red bud, and look how pretty she is. My poor red buds have had quite some struggles. So this guy has had part of it snapped off. At one point I thought maybe they weren't going to make it at all, but they keep hanging in. This one has not had as much of a struggle as one on the other end that I'll show you in a minute, but look at this beautiful lady. Isn't she pretty? That's an autumn brilliant serviceberry, and you can see I've had to put some stuff around the base. The deer, the male deer in the fall like to rub their antlers really hard on a tree. It's part of, I think, marking their territory, and you can see how I've got several trees back here that they have done that to. And the tree, for the most part, if it's not too damaged, will heal over. And so far this guy looks like she's okay. But look at these blossoms. Oh, look how pretty. And then these will turn into a little berry, hence the name serviceberry. I usually don't get to see those and enjoy them for more than a day or two, because then birds come through and just strip them clean of all the berries. And then it leaves out and it's just a pretty multi-trunk tree. What else do we have? We've got some more Chardonnay Pearls Deutzias over here that are budding up some blossoms. We're going to look like these will be having a show here soon. And then we have some more daffodils. This is a different kind. They have a little bit tighter double blossom. And I think they smell pretty too. Oh, so pretty. This nice little fresh pop of green and pale, almost, I don't know, just like the creamiest white with the little bits of orange in there. Just so precious and beautiful. And this is something to just point out, that when you're putting together your landscaping, you want to think about succession, meaning right now we've got the daffodils, we've got some things that are greening up and putting on some greenery growth, that's adding some color to the landscape. Like the daylilies are really adding a textural piece and that pop of like that kind of mid to light green color. You've got the blooming trees that are adding some interest. But then there's lots of other things that aren't doing a whole lot yet. They just are starting to form up some leaf buds. But then you have right here the Chardonnay Pearls Deutzias. So we've got the daffodil color. We've got the blooming trees. These guys have put on some leaves, so we're getting some impact from that. But then as these start to peter out, these guys are going to just start to really put on their show. And so there's always something interesting to look at when you plan for that, when you think about that in the plants and the flowers and the perennials and the shrubs that you select. If you kind of pay attention, you can plan your landscape so that within a bed, even if you've got some things that aren't ready yet to put on their show, you've got something interesting to look at, and then you've got something else to look at, and then we'll have something else to look at as those wind up their big show of blooms or color. This is the other, poor thing. This is my other red bud, and this poor guy, look at can you see right here? Like the only thing I can think that happened was it looked like the other one, but even fuller. And I think what happened about a year and a half ago, in the fall, it was the fall of not this most recent fall, but the one before. I think the buck must have been trying to rub the tree and the trunk of the tree, and their branches must have gotten stuck in the canopy, and it snapped it right off right here. And I thought for sure this guy was done. It was late in the fall. There was nothing I was going to do. I figured that last spring I was going to be having to dig up the stump and either put something else here or just leave this bare. And don't you know, this guy, I started noticing, oh, you've got some little branchlets. Now, normally you would cut things off that are along the branch, along the trunk, kind of low like this, because they would be suckers. I thought, you know what, we're just going to see what happens. And I let it go all through the summer last year, and you can see I'm going to call these branches. So for now, I'm calling this a red bud shrub. And I'm going to try to do some research. I'm wondering if I can take one of these, like maybe this one, and kind of sort of get it a little bit straighter, train it to go straighter, and get this and make it be a new central trunk. We'll see. If not, we'll see how long it lasts as a red bud shrub. But you can see we've got leaves coming in, and we've got blossoms. So for the time being, I'm going to enjoy it like this. Let's see what else we can find. All right, this is a birch tree that I put in an area. This gets very wet over here, so I have this birch tree, and look how pretty that is. This is the first year I've really noticed it showing off that kind of pale white almost bark for the main trunk, and it's starting to leaf out, and that white bark against all the stuff behind and around. Oh, that I just love that. I so hope that I can someday get a couple more birches and put them right around in here. Oh, I think that would be so pretty. I love a multi-trunk tree. This is another one of my favorite spring blooming things that I planted as bulbs. These are, I think, called snowdrops. Look at how dainty these little flowers are, and there's so many of them. And these, I think, are multiplying. I did not plant this many when I planted these 3 years ago, and they just keep coming back. Nothing bothers them. It's gorgeous, and this drift makes such a nice impact while the stuff behind is getting ready to leaf up. You can see we've got some Midnight Masquerade penstemon in here that's starting to leaf out. We've got some shrubs that are getting their leaves. The evergreens, Mr. Bowling balls, are looking good, although I did find there's a couple of birds' nests in here, so hopefully, oh, it looks like those eggs are gone, so I don't know if something ate them or what happened. And there's another one over there. I accidentally pulled on that shrubby, grubby stuff there, thinking it was just something that had flown in, and it was a bird's nest. We've got some more of the daffodils. And we have one lone tulip. I think there's one on the other side that has come back. Tulips do not tend to reproduce like daffodils do. And there's something that the deer do like to eat. So the fact that I have one here, isn't she pretty? Look at that. So pretty. There's another one on the other side. I'm really shocked that it's coming back too. But we've got some more daffodils. So to talk about, again, that succession idea. As you come into this garden area, I have very intentionally put the daffodil bulbs on either side of the entrance so that you have that kind of immediate impact even in the early spring. We have some evergreen type shrubs over there and a different kind over here, so you have that kind of pop of color. You have Royal Raindrops crab that I want to come look at, and hopefully I did not miss its blooming, and that they did not get somehow zapped with a early spring frost. No, look, look at all these buds. This guy is, she is gonna be a showstopper here in just, I would say, a few days. Look, she's gonna be pretty. She was a splurge. She was the biggest thing I spent money on when I was starting to build this garden, and I'm so glad I did, because that is going to be a showstopper when she starts to bloom. So, and then we have lots of other things that are just starting to wake up. Let's see what else we can find. All right. So here we have some more daffodils. We have some more things that are just starting to leaf out. We have a lilac bush. So this is one of those that's kind of like a second layer of color in the spring. She is a, I forget what it's called exactly. It's a type of lilac that in theory will rebloom potentially in the fall. I haven't quite seen that yet, but we'll see maybe this year. She's kind of struggled. I had to move her at one point. But she's definitely got a lot of blooms for this spring, so we'll see how that goes. And then hellebores. I love me some hellebores this time of year. So these two are clusters of 3 plants that I bought 2, I think, years ago, and you can see they are really healthy. They're very happy. My hope is that in another year or two, I can do some digging up, separating, and expanding, or adding more hellebores, either adding some more clusters or just adding hellebores somewhere else. I'd love to maybe get some of these and put some here around the tree. But these are another one of those things that the leaves are almost evergreen. They stay with some green pretty much through the winter. And then you cut off the old stuff in the early spring, and then they flush back out new. But they were blooming early on, like even a month or so ago, I think. So you get some really early spring color from them, and I really appreciate that. They always make me feel hopeful that spring is truly coming. And then this is my little dogwood tree. Look how sweet. She's just starting to open up her blooms. Aren't those pretty? And oh, look at that. It already looks beautiful. And some of the blooms aren't even all the way open yet. Oh, I just love that. Love it. All right. So let's see what else we can find. Oh, there's a bird that built a nest in my wreath. All right. So over here, we've got some more of the violas that I started from seed, and they're blooming and just looking darling. So pretty. And in this flower bed here, where there's not a whole lot yet going on, although we do have some evergreen type things. We've got some boxwoods, and then these are a type of mophead cypress. So they give us some color all the time. But we also have a few spring bulbs. And then these guys, they are volunteers. These are some kind of pansy or viola that I had last year, planted somewhere around here, and they have just on their own seeded and are blooming and just adding a nice little pop here. There's some over there. I am completely fine with that. So that I think is lovely, adding a little pop of color here. Not a whole lot yet going on here in this part of the garden. I think maybe that's an area that I need to be thinking about doing something to bring some more spring interest here. There is some over there with some bulbs, but not so much through this whole big area, but we will be soon. This crabapple tree, you can see, is starting to bloom. It hasn't completely yet, but oh, look how pretty. Look at these. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? I have had this variety of crabapple at every one of my homes, and I just love it. Oh, so pretty. The pink buds, and then they open up to this pale, pretty much white blossom. Oh, so pretty. Sugar thyme, and thyme is spelled T-Y-M-E. Oh, gorgeous. And then we have some lilacs here that will hopefully be giving us that later spring color and blooming. And then over here we have a golden privet. And so what I love about a combination of lilacs and golden privet is the lilacs will give us that pretty lavender bloom in a few weeks. And then as they're slowing down, the privet will start to bloom, and it's a similar kind of cluster of flowers, but they're more of a pale yellowish color, but the smell is just like lilac. So it kind of extends that lilac season, so to speak, which I just love. And then over here is a snowmound spirea. She has not started to bloom yet, but should pretty soon. And I'm looking, she's leafing out. I don't see what looks like buds yet, but I can't remember when those start to show up. But let's see if we can find anything else. Oh yes, this will be the last area we'll look at. We have two of my favorites for this time of year. We have some snowdrops, and we have some autumn brilliance serviceberry. So this area had 3 trees where you see the snowdrops originally that were part of the property here to begin with that we left. And after a couple of years of living with that and starting to fill in this flower bed, I realized that they were nut trees, and they were not producing a lot of nuts yet at that point, but they would be soon based on some other trees on the property. And at least one of them was black walnut, which black walnuts put something out into the ground from their roots called juglone, which can be a substance that makes it difficult for some other plants. So I decided that it would be better to get those trees down now while they were smaller enough to do that with me and my neighbor and his chainsaw, and went in the fall. That's the best time to get your best price on trees. It's also a great time to plant trees. So these went in a year ago, last fall. So this is their second spring here, and you can see they're already just doing great, putting out some lots of buds. They're a little smaller than the other one that we looked at, but they already make an impact in this space, especially with the snowdrops. They kind of talk to each other and bring a little bit of spring color. Obviously, not tons yet. We've still got lots of things to get woken up all the way and start blooming, but it's giving us a good start. And over here we have a few more hellebores. These are much smaller, so a much smaller impact yet. Hellebores take a long time to achieve some size, and that's why if you go to try to buy some hellebores, you'll find that they tend to be on the pricier end compared to maybe a daylily or something like a daisy, black-eyed Susans, some of those kinds of things that grow much faster. Hellebores take longer, so I was trying to economize, and I got ones that were much smaller, you can see, but they'll eventually catch up. So that is adding a little bit of a pop. We've got some things leafing out with some different leaf colors. That's a orange deer villa, so the leaves are a much different color. So that's another way you can get some spring interest, is just by selecting some different things that have different colors of their greenery, their foliage, and just even that can give you some early spring interest. Oh, and then this is probably where we'll end. This is Pulmonaria, pretty in pink. Pulmonaria, lungwort, and look at how pretty this is, and it's been like this for at least a few weeks. So a nice little pop. Definitely need to get some more of this, or let these grow for another year and then divide them up and add some more of this throughout here. Some heucheras and some heucheras and some, I think these are tiarella, maybe foamy bells, are starting to wake up, starting to bring a little bit of color to the party. You can see we've got some hostas starting to go. So this bed will fill in very quickly. I grew some Bergenia last year from seed. It looks like some of it is coming back. And so that's going to add some nice color here. So we also have some things that actually survived the drought last year, some euonymus and some astilbe. Looks like not maybe all of it, but at least some of it. Astilbe tends to take a while to wake up. So those, I'm not giving up yet. I'm going to leave the sticks. So things are coming to life. Things are waking up. Spring is here. The beauty is coming back to the flower beds, and I'm just so excited to see how things continue to develop. Thanks for joining me here in Aunt Susan's garden.